provide evidence to the consistent fraudulent conduct, the institutions that I owe, the people that I owe, the military trial proceedings that took place that conclusively found me guilty.
We have the very latest from the court, plus the judge sitting on the defunct Men's Gold case ready to read the entire 110-page ruling on number 1. You want to stay for details. Also this afternoon, the governing New Patriotic Party says its running mate, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, will resign from his position in the coming days as the energy minister.
Obviously, there will not be any resignation as Member of Parliament. But in terms of the position he occupies as minister, I think that he would communicate officially to His Excellency the President, who appointed him to serve in that role.
Details of that, meanwhile, ahead of the 2024 election, many first-time voters express deep-seated disappointment in the two leading political parties, the NPP and NDC, due to their unfulfilled promises.
I feel like they have failed me so bad. If things have gotten this bad, then I wonder what we will tell our children.
I know a lot of persons with disability who are not employed in their home, and you've promised us sense.
And the time will come where we at the lower will decide that no, we are not going to give power to anybody again. And at that time will surely come.
And with just about 5 months to the general election, the finance minister firmly asserts that he will not exceed the budgetary allocation under any circumstances.
Of course, the pressures are there, but we must begin to say no to some of the pressures. And that's what we're exactly doing.
Minority on Parliament's Education Committee urges the Ghana Education Service to impose severe sanctions on teachers arrested for violation of rules governing the conduct of the ongoing BECE.
So WAEC, the Ghana Education Service, and the Ghana Police Service, they ought to be up and doing. Let those who do wrong, who have been caught doing wrong, be sanctioned, and they should be sanctioned in a way that will be public.
And their sports.
Ghana's Rosie Apawu is chasing Olympic glory as she intensifies training ahead of her debut appearance.
That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, please do stay on for details. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. We start off from the court where the Chief of Defence Staff in the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Opompe Price, this afternoon is set to testify on circumstances leading to the third accused in the ambulance trial, Richard Jakpa's discharge from the force. Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chiayeboa, during cross-examination of Richard Jakpa, sought to suggest to the court that the witness was dismissed from the Ghana Armed Forces for persistent acts of misconduct and heavy indebtedness to individuals and institutions. Well, this is based on a 12 September 2007 letter signed by Brigadier General MGK Ahiaglo recommending Jakpa's discharge from the army on grounds of shameful and regrettable conduct. But Richard Jakpa, in an interview with Joy News, denied knowledge of that letter.
Very strange, my brother, and that is why I'm contesting it, and that is why my lawyers are going to subpoena the military command
to come and explain this
to
letter.
Come and provide evidence to the consistent fraudulent conduct, the institutions that I owe, the people that I owe, the military trial proceedings that took place that conclusively found me guilty for them to write such a thing about me. Would they copy me? Would they confront me? Would they give me the natural justice for me to even defend myself? The letter is from Army Headquarters. Military officers, they have their units. I was under Recce Regiment. And the Recce Regiment is under a Southern Command headed by a Brigadier General. So we will respond directly to that Southern Command. Then from there to the Army Headquarters. So if you are writing something like this, you should have been quoting references from which this complaint was made from. But you look at the letter, there are no references on that letter at all. So it meant that the Army Headquarters on its own, out of a vacuum, created this story of consistently fraudulent, owing people, institution, because they didn't reference anything.
Well, it remains to be seen if indeed the Chief of Defence Staff will be in court to testify in this case. He's not alone. The Chief Executive of BECE General Trading LLC, Hamad Sadashi, was also expected to be in court today. Last week, when the court adjourned, they held that the CEO of the principal company in the controversy will give evidence about his company's involvement in the procurement of the ambulances. My colleague Latif Idris is following this case, plus the case on the defunct Men's Gold case involving number 1. The issue about fraud is also underway now, and we are learning that the judge says he's going to read a 110-page report All Info and Legal Affairs correspondent Latif Idris is on standby. Which one should we start with? Men's Gold case first, I guess.
Yeah, we could start with the Men's Gold case because as we speak, Emefa, the judge says because of the public interest nature of this particular case, that is the number one case, he is compelled to read the entire 110 pages. That is copious and huge. And as we speak, before I stepped out, he had already made like 15 pages, keeping some of the pages because they are authorities and decided cases in Ghana and other jurisdictions that he felt that it's going to drag, so he's keeping some of them. Maybe he's able to make it within a reasonable period of time. So the ruling, as we speak, is being read by the trial judge to determine whether number one has a case to answer or the prosecution failed to make a case on behalf of the victims of the defunct Men's Gold saga. Emefa.
Well, what's the mood in court on that particular case, though?
Anxious, Emefa. So I was looking in the eyes of these people whose millions of Ghana citizens have for now gone down the drain. Many of them claimed have died, and those in court today are anxious, are painstakingly paying attention to the ruling. The judge in his ruling, the manner in which he started the ruling, he started with quotations from the Bible and said, if you hear one-sided story, you'll be compelled to take a decision that may be flawed. And so it is always good to hear both sides of the story. And I'm just paraphrasing, but he was quoting quotations from the Bible to make this particular case. It unsettled some of the victims in a way because then it is sending a signal that maybe, just maybe, it's not going to be their day and that number one was going to work. But he's reading it and they are anxious and waiting and hoping. When I engage some of them, they are hoping that number one will be asked to mount the witness box to open his defense when the judge is finished with ruling.
Well, okay. I assume then that the ambulance procurement trial is yet to start, and we are learning that BECE and, of course, the Ghana Armed Forces are expected to testify in that case. What are we learning about that as well?
So, just before your call came through, I had to move from the General Jurisdiction Court, which is just next door to the Criminal, Financial, and Economic Court 1. So it's just next door. I had to move from number one's case and move to the other court. And just when I entered, the case was called, the judge has walked in, and I don't see any sign of the CDS. Today, there is the minority leader, Dr. Kislato Fortune, I have not seen him yet in court. And so that by the parties, the lawyers are all in. Alfred Treyabo, who is leading the Attorney General's team, is here. And so the case has been called as we speak, and it's ongoing. I don't know exactly what's going on because there is no CDS, and I don't know if the virtual call with BECE is going to happen.
And that's my colleague Latif Idris there following those cases in court for us. Of course, we'll give you live updates on myjoyonline.com, also on all our social media platforms, on Joy News, also on Joy 99.7 FM. Away from the court, let's get into the election headquarters now. And your election headquarters is made possible by Petrosol, Clean Fuel in Full Quantity, SIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, SIMA, AICPA and SIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development. And this afternoon, the leadership of the governing New Patriotic Party expects the running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, in the coming days to resign as Energy Minister so he can fully concentrate on his new role. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was unveiled on Tuesday and is already campaigning in part of the Western region. Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, says the party expects a formal resignation in the coming days.
Sure, he will do that because we have precedents. There has been precedents before. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was the MP for Ebuakwa when he became the flag bearer. He resigned as minister and went and contest. John Dramani Mahama was an MP, and he also was picked as a running mate to His Excellency Professor Mills. Lawyer Mumuni was also an MP. Obviously, there will not be any resignation as Member of Parliament, but in terms of the position he occupies
as Energy Minister,
I think that he would communicate officially to His Excellency the President, who appointed him to serve in that role. The MPP will remain to listen to the people of Ghana. We are going to showcase our ticket to them, and we are going to build our campaign based on the successes of all the MPP governments from President Kufuor. And if you look at my commentary, I come from the north. The contribution of J. Kufuor in terms of health infrastructure in the north was very great. And Akufo-Addo has come to complement to make sure that all other districts are covered. And we are going to continue to make sure that the social contracts that we had with the good people of Ghana in 2016, we are going to look at all those particular sectors and focus on the vision of His Excellency, the Vice President, and the standard bearer of our party to ensure that we do what the people want.
Well, that's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, there speaking to my colleague Elton Brobe on the poll. So whilst we wait for the NPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, to resign as Energy Minister, the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has meanwhile challenged the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, to a presidential debate on the economy. Well, during his constituency campaign tour in the Northeast region, Dr. Bawumia emphasized the importance of shedding light on the policies of both candidates before the 2024 general elections.
I am looking forward to a debate with John Mahama on the economy, on the country, on the governance. But I'm afraid that he's running away from a debate, isn't it? His people say he doesn't want to debate, but he doesn't want to debate because he knows I will expose the emptiness of his policies. He says he has a 24-hour economy that he cannot explain. It's as empty as an empty barrel. He cannot explain it. None of his people can explain it. They say they will be exporting lions and elephants. But when we meet mano a mano, we can debate, and the country will see where our policies lie. And that is where we should go. We should give the country an opportunity to listen to us. But if he chooses not to debate, I will continue to sell my policies to the people of Ghana, and you will take the decision.
That's the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, many first-time voters are expressing deep disillusionment with the NPP and NDC, feeling abandoned by unfulfilled promises. On the PM Express with Evans Mensah last night, these prospective voters confront political parties on critical national issues that matter to them. My colleague Emmanuel Jivenu has more.
Many first-time voters have expressed profound disillusionment with the two major political parties, the NPP and NDC, citing a failure to address critical national issues. Among these disillusioned voters are Ning, Esther and Joseph, prospective first-time voters who feel their concerns are being overlooked.
I feel like they have failed me so bad. We are the next generation that they will hand over everything to us. And if things have gotten this bad, then I wonder what we will tell our children.
I know a lot of persons with disability who are not employed in their home. Not that they don't qualify. They have all these qualifications, and you've promised us citizens.
I've lost total trust in them. Okay. And the time will come where we at the lower will decide that, no, we are not going to give power to anybody again. And that time will surely come.
These three young voters reflect a broader sentiment among the youth, highlighting issues such as bulging unemployment and rampant illegal mining that continue to devastate communities and the environment. They are demanding answers from the political parties.
The NDC have a very clear, practical solution to dealing with the Galamsey menace. We need to have a stakeholders forum and bring on board everybody, especially the landowners. Because you see, when you want to fight Galamsey and you don't look at the livelihood of the people that are affected by what they currently engage in, you will fail.
The vision of Dr. Bawumia is that it's going to formalize and regularize every activity that is going to happen within the environmental sector. The policies that we are looking at for the future is that we are going to make sure that the industrialization will lead the queue, where we'll be able to open up in the private sector to be able to employ many more of the youth.
We are coming up with a policy called the 24-hour economic policy. Under the Ejuma era, we are looking at equipping 10,000 young people to start up their own businesses.
The impatience of the youth is palpable. They are demanding a revolution, not with guns or violence, but with a certain sense of anger that will change the way successive governments manage the resources of the state. Emmanuel Giovanni's report for Joy News.
Did you say you missed PM Express last night? Well, it's available on our social media platforms. It's on the Joy News channel, also on myjoyonline.com. You auto catch that first-time voters edition. Well, with just about 5 months to the general elections also, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, is firmly asserting that he will not exceed the budgetary allocation under any circumstances. At a meeting with financial and non-banking financial institutions, the minister says ministers are aware unbudgeted projects will not be financed.
It's the election year spending that we talk about. And I alluded to that earlier. But I want to use this year, under my stewardship as finance minister, to write a different narrative. That we can have an election year where government will operate within its budget. And so the mid-year will certainly answer some of the questions, some of the fears that we've expressed. Because we will show to the world that we are working within the fiscal path of the budget. We are not deviating from that. We are not spending more than what we are supposed to do in the budget. Let's don't do this only when IMF is in town. Let's do it as a country.
That's the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Now let's focus on the ongoing BECE's Day 4, and the minority on Parliament's Education Committee is calling out the Ghana Education Service to take action against 18 teachers arrested so far for violating rules governing the conduct of the BECE. The teachers were arrested in the first 3 days of the exams for various malpractices, including solving questions for candidates. But the Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee in Parliament, Dr. Clement Apak, insists on thorough investigations and stringent punishment on them, on those who to deter others. He spoke on the AM show with my colleague Benjamin Akakbo.
I expect the Ghana Education Service to identify and sanction those teachers to serve as a deterrent to others, because this conduct is reprehensible. It is even a lot more worrying that it is coming from teachers. So WAEC, the Ghana Education Service, and the Ghana Police Service, they ought to be up and doing. Let those who do wrong, who have been caught doing wrong, be sanctioned, and they should be sanctioned in a way that will be public, so that it then sends a signal and a warning to others who may be tempted to do similar.
Is WAEC not doing exactly that? They are saying the teachers and invigilators arrested for malpractices will face prosecution.
Well, every year, that's what they say. That is why I'm making this point.
If the people are facing prosecution, is that not a step in the right direction?
It's in the right direction, but we as I'm sitting now, I've not seen a report by WAEC or the Ghana Police Service that has been put in the public domain indicating that for 2023's BECE and WASI, these were the number of cases, the outcomes. We have not seen that.
Well, that's the Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee. We've been hearing from teacher unions. They are asking government to pay invigilators equitably as WAEC arrested 2 more teachers. And that's the concern that they've been raising. Now, we've been hearing also from the Deputy Education Minister, Reverend John Ntimfojua, indicating that measures have been put in place to fish out scheming invigilators.
So far, we've recorded minimal incidents where in some pockets around some parts of the country, we have 2,123 centers. And out of these centers, over 19,000 schools are participating. So therefore, when there are isolated incidents of malpractice, whilst we take steps to nip that in the bud, we must also appreciate the many thousands of centers that are conducting themselves well. However, we have measures in place to fish out those few who may engage in any examination malfeasance and misconduct. But so far, we must commend the thousands of invigilators who have so conducted themselves so well. this year's examination is one of the best we are witnessing, and therefore we must commend Ghana Education Service, WAEC, Ghana Police Service, National Investigation Bureau, and all agencies who have supported Ministry of Education in putting up this successful examination.
That's Reverend John in Team Fojo there. He's the Deputy Education Minister there, commenting on the arrest so far in ongoing BECE. It's a good time to take a quick breather here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and myjoyonline.com, made possible by Petrosol. Your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Dura Plus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank, where Dura Plus goes, water flows. We'll return from the break with sports, and we focus on the National Science and Maths quiz. Bator Senior High School celebrates victory over St. Catherine Girls and Sokode SHTS big as their win qualifies them to national championship of the NSMQ for the first time.
To the competitions was tough, especially the 2 and 4. So my God, but they kill it! They kill it!
That's what they're excited.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
This is what the Olympics is all about.
Get closer to split-second wins. Closer to history in the making. Closer to your champions.
The greatest athletic achievements of all time.
Get DSTV to get closer to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games from 26 July to 11 August, with 9 dedicated channels for the best coverage of every medal and every podium moment. On Supersport on DSTV, your home of entertainment.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 hash and found no regrets. A side comma investors are a striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan or also entering containing a joy. After to the seamstresser or turning a hard end stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
It's time for sports. Mubarak, what do we have?
Emefa,
Yes.
Now, Ghana's Rosie Abua is determined to win a medal at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The high jumper left Ghana for Paris on Wednesday night for her maiden global appearance. Rose secured her qualification with an incredible 1.97 meters jump at the NCAA Championship in June.
Qualifying for Olympics is such a great experience, and I'm really happy to see myself there to compete for my country, Ghana. I feel like my target is I want to jump above 197, like 197 and above, and I know for sure that I'm gonna make it because looking at my performance I put up during the NCAA, I feel like I'll do much better. Everyone should expect me qualifying to the finals and seeing myself in the podium. It will be such a great experience if at least I make it to the finals and at least get a medal.
Yeah, Emefa, before I go, Ghana Premier League champion Samatex will face Victoria United of Cameroon in the first round of the CAF Champions League prelims.
Thank you very much, Mubarak, for the latest from the world of sports. Now, this afternoon, government says construction on the $60 million Jamestown fishing port will soon be completed and a date for its commissioning will be set soon. However, even before the government finalizes that, some locals have already found other ways to use the port, defecating around it and drawing the anger of the Regional Coordinating Council. My colleague Michael Ashale was with the regional minister in the Gamanche, who visited the facility earlier today and now reports.
For years, locals have used the Jamestown beach for fishing activities. In December 2018, the nucleated and dirty landing site was demolished to make way for a modern fishing port.
I will also commission the Jamestown Fishing Harbour, which currently stands at 88% complete.
Engineer Mavis Alote explained that inspections have begun and the facility will soon be handed over to the government.
This project, I would say, is about 99% completed.
Gamanche Kenny Takiteku II expressed his admiration for the project. He also urged the government to prioritize employing locals once the facility is completed.
Because I know that you have a maintenance program for 4 years. And we believe that when you have left, Gadangbis should take over this place.
Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover said government is now considering a date for the official commissioning of the facility.
Everybody should exercise patience.
Even before the facility's completion date is set, some residents have begun using the surrounding area for defecation. This upsets the regional minister.
That some guys are using around to defecate. It was captured on social media where a young guy is under the breakwater doing his own thing. But when Gapoa takes over fully, security is going to be enforced.
For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Now, the family of a 24-year-old lady who allegedly drowned at a hotel in Western Region is asking the police to be thorough with their investigation as they suspect foul play in her death. Uncle of the deceased, Alexander Abe, tells Joy News the circumstances leading to the death of his niece, Lois Abena-Kranting, a strange reason they want speedy investigations.
If you look at the circumstances surrounding it, one, she knows how to swim very well. And then two, the time of swimming. And she's not a lady that will be exposing herself, but the picture that was sent to me, she was in just bra and then underwear. Lois will never go to the pool with this. Even in going to swim, you see her in a very good apparel that her body parts are a bit secured, like covered. So it gives us a lot of suspicion. And that is why we don't trust the thing being done in Takoradi.
Who are you suspecting?
I cannot point, but the whole thing is that, one, in every incident, the person handling it at any point in time should be able to tell you that this is where we are, this is what we have done. But we're not getting any information from the police. And then also, there was no arrest. At least the hotel that had this issue should be able to tell us, to the extent that even Lois' phone and the laptop she was using was with the supervisor.
Well, that's the uncle of Lois Abena there. But just before we go, we have updates from the National Science and Maths Quiz. And lots of surprises recorded at the regional contest, and Bator Senior High School are the freshest newbies to qualify for the national stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Here are excerpts.
Competitions was tough, especially the 2 and 4. So my God, but they kill it! They kill it!
So they're excited. There are schools who have qualified with 78 points, some 75, 71 points. You are likely to meet any of those in the championship on Friday. Are you ready to compete?
Ready. In fact, we don't fear anybody. Since we won this, we don't fear. Yes, we are winning.
Students from Bator Senior High School, they don't fear anybody. Well, MNJ,
yes.
Here. Who do you fear?
Maybe
nobody.
No,
maybe you fear this word.
Yes.
What word is that?
which is actually trending on Twitter.
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
a word, a very long word.
Yeah.
Kumadonkonkwais.
That's the word.
Yeah, Kumadokunkwais.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the new word. Actually trending on Twitter. Exactly.
Yes. Yes. So people have been sharing their thoughts on it.
Exactly, we'll share the story around it.
Yes. So a certain guy who usually does these videos on social media.
Him on TikTok.
Great. So yesterday it was trending after Sarkodie actually posted on his socials saying that he was by all means possible. He says that all I want to do is Kumadonkonkwais till end of time. And Tracy came to reply. His wife says that I'm a Kumadonkonkwais helper. See me in chambers.
Okay.
So right about now, I'm going home to go and Kumadokonkwais.
Very important. We all need to. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. How to Grow Your Faith, episode 6. You would really want to stay for that. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.